Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Puree, by the way, and today we are going to be doing another Lolita fashion YouTubers collab. This one was made by Cupcake Kami-sama. This is their YouTube channel. If you click here, you'll be linked to it. It is called the Lolita Lifelong Advice collab, I believe. And I'm really excited to get into it. I actually wrote out my answers this time. Wow. So let's get started. The first question is something I learned early on in this fashion which I feel could help everyone. So I said, don't dive too deep into online communities before knowing what you want to get from them. I got into a lot of online communities, from advice groups to beginner groups. I even entered a lot of Discord servers. The reason why I say to avoid doing all of this is because of the reasons it made me feel. I felt extremely isolated when posting in these places. I knew I was just building my wardrobe, and so I didn't have a completed style or look. And it got me not feeling so confident in what I was doing, and I think that made me a little bit vulnerable. Sometimes in these groups, there can be cliques and people who would like to sound like they know everything. And there can be some pretty harsh people in there who frankly do not care what you have to say. They just sit there waiting for you to give them an opening on pointing out how you're not Lolita enough and to roast what you like in your style. It's honestly just really toxic, and I've made plenty of videos on that. But I'm not saying that all online communities are this way, or bad at any means. I actually really love the communities that I am in and a part of now. They make me feel so welcome and included, and I get inspired by their outfits and styles. I feel like I just fell in love with the fashion all over again after feeling like I just wasn't ever going to belong. So I'd like to say, if you don't have a footing into what kind of style you're going for or confidence in how you appear to other Lolitas, wait and just join if you feel comfortable. Don't feel like you have to. You can learn through videos and forums without participating. Just because you don't post online doesn't mean you're not a part of the community. Also, I'd look into local comms because they're a lot more welcoming and it's a great way to connect. Just to further say what I want to say on this is that, like I said, not all online communities are bad like this at all. I'm just saying that I learned pretty early on for myself that I didn't really know exactly what I was looking to get into with Lolita. I was away from it for so long. I didn't really know what was in style, what was considered Ida, all of those things. I don't think that you should care so much necessarily about what is considered Ida in terms of things like, oh, if you are into this kind of style or you wear your things this way. Obviously, I would say respect the fashion and all of that. Don't wear it as like a cosplay or something, obviously, unless it's like a character or something like that. But you know what I'm trying to say. But I would just say, like, when you're going into these advice groups or beginner groups or anything like that, don't feel pressured that you need to post something. You can just be on the sidelines and watch things and learn as you're watching them. If you don't feel comfortable in what style you're learning about, like say you're just hearing all this stuff about sweet Lolita fashion and you don't really care about it, don't try to force that into like Gothic Lolita fashion, because that's not the same thing. And I would just tell you to strive to look into videos and things like that that are more about those things. So just don't feel pressure to post online if you really don't want to. You don't have to. It doesn't make you Lolita to post online. You don't have to share your outfits online. It's really just all up to you, and you can learn without asking for advice directly. You can learn from other people's advice and things like that, so just keep that in mind. Number 2 is the most valuable lesson I learned in this fashion so far. So I said that the golden silhouette rule is kind of stupid. And before you start disliking this video and roasting me, you gotta hear me out. I say this because I feel like this is the rule that is shown to newbies and just anyone in Lolita the most. Mainly sweet Lolitas, as it is the most popular. That's the one thing that makes something Lolita, and frankly I just disagree with this. It reminded me of the lore video of her looking at old Gothic Lolita Bibles and looking at the Gothic Lolita sections and questioning on if they're actually Lolita or not, because they do not fall under a certain silhouette or like a bell-shaped silhouette. This isn't hate to her at all, because I mean the video literally says she doesn't know much about the Gothic aspects of the fashion, but I just wanted to yell to the high heavens that there is more than just bell-shaped silhouettes in Lolita. And I don't think that we should hold it to such a standard. Most Gothic Lolita pieces are longer and more slender in cuts. I'm gonna put some pictures right here for them. And old school pieces usually have built-in petties that give a flare effect and nothing more, or some of them just, they weren't worn with any petticoat at all. And frankly, you can't fit a petticoat underneath a lot of them. Maybe a very small one, but that's kind of giving the same effect of the built-in ones, just to give a flare look. In my opinion, that doesn't make it not Lolita. The difference between a plain 50s day dress and a baby doll dress are the lace trims, the intricate way the crochet lace is woven, the ribbons, the ruffles, the frill of all of it. It's really all about detail and intricacy in the pieces, even if you removed all the accessories in the outfit. And by the way, of course you should wear a cupcake petty if you're doing modern AP sweet looks. Like, that is the style. That's how it's supposed to be made. And of course, if you own AP stuff, wear it however you want. But I'm saying if you're going for that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear a petticoat with that. They're meant to be worn that way. They're literally made to be worn with the giant petticoat underneath it. That's why it looks really weird if you don't. But Gothic Lolita has always been kind of an aristocratic look to it because it's pretty intertwined. I'm not a full-fledged goth or Gothic Lolita, so take that what I say in that regard with a grain of salt, but I just wanted to rant about it for a bit and say, instead of a shape, let's focus on details, because to me that is a lot more Lolita. Yeah, so basically, like, there's like a lot of motif pieces that are like not Lolita silhouette, a lot of old school things that are not Lolita silhouette, even like the baby doll dress or whatever. Like, if you want to go off of those things, and I know people say, well, like an A-line shape, but I just feel like that gets cloudy, and even the A-line examples that I see always talked about, because a lot of like the beginner advice videos and stuff are usually like done by people who are into like modern sweet Lolita, which is totally fine, but I'm just saying that like kind of gets like muddy, and then newbies and other people, like in general, even people who've been in the fashion for a long time but don't know much about the other substyles of the fashion or sister fashions to Lolita, don't realize that there is more than just a giant poof. Even more than just an A-line petty, because a lot of the A-line petties that I see are really, really big a lot of the time, that I don't even think would suit like Victorian maiden stuff. So keep that in mind. I'm just trying to tell you guys, because I just go on TikTok and stuff and I'll see like, what makes something Lolita? It is the silhouette. If it does not have this bell-shaped silhouette, then it is not Lolita, and I just disagree with that. I feel like these details, this ribbon, the lace up, the bows, the intricate lace, like, that is what makes something Lolita to me, and not the silhouette. And I digress. Please don't hate me. Something I'm still learning and working on is number 3. I said how to edit photos. I still haven't figured out how everyone does the mirroring thing in their cord photos. Like, I think it's on some kind of app. I'm just blind and missing it every time, but I swear to God I can't find it for the life of me, and that is very true. I think I edit photos decently of my cords, but I'm still learning on how to do them better, especially because I don't have like a proper setup, and like I have to use a front facing camera on my phone, so it's like lower quality. Like, I don't have someone to take pictures of me, I don't have a lot of space or room or a big mirror, so I'm just working with what I got. Number 4, if there were Lolita classes at school, I would take one in Lolita history. I love hearing about it and learning about the subcultures that overlapped and stuff. I really wanted to hear about a normal life of Lolita in the 2000s and like what they did in their free time. Like when you see the street snaps of old school Lolitas walking around with maybe 1 or 2 friends in this city setting. I want to know what they were up to, like what did they do that day when they got dressed up, like what shops did they visit, what music were they listening to, what did they eat, what did they chat about, what kind of pop culture were they into. I don't know, I just find that really interesting. I just love cultural like aspects of alternative communities. I like to learn about all of that stuff, like where are they going when they're dressed up in this fashion, like what do they talk about, what do they do. And I just find it especially like past like aspects of the fashion, like old school, like I want to know what they were up to in the early 2000s. Like I just find that really interesting. 5, someone I've learned a lot from in this fashion, cynical neo-princessism. Their blog is really amazing in helping me learn more about old school stuff. I really enjoyed reading the blogs and I feel I have a bigger insight on it all. I'll link the blog in the description because I think it's really helpful if you want to learn more about old school. And then also CandiceBear on YouTube. It does amazing talks about things that happened in the Lolita community years ago, and I find them so interesting. You should totally check out her channel as well, that I'm gonna put in the link in the description as well. Yeah, she does really cool like just story time videos or in-depth like goes into old blogs and like breaks them down and things, and like how she felt when things happened when she was into Lolita at that time, and like pictures of her when she was like in the past and stuff. I just find it really interesting, and I definitely like, I think that she deserves way more credit for the things that she posts about. Like I just find them, it's like a time capsule and I just love it. So yeah, you should totally check out her channel too. She actively posts all the time. Number 6, something that I'm always happy to help others with. Styling advice or how to feel comfortable thinking outside the box when it comes to making a Lolita cord, especially in old school. Honestly, I'm happy to help with anything, so if you ever want advice or anything, just let me know in the comments, and that's exactly what I want. So if you have any weird questions or life advice, anything, I will be happy to help you with anything that I can, because I just want to help people. 7, if I could magically learn one Lolita skill, it would be to sew dresses with ease. I'm a novice sewer, but I would love to be able to have like a second nature to make clothing like that. That would be amazing, especially if I could just make my own Lolita pieces. Like that's the dream one day. Number 8, something I learned thanks to Lolita fashion that helped me in life in general. And I said to cherish my clothing. I've always been kind of a clothing hoarder and I've always dressed up, but I always just had lots of fast fashion things and went through them pretty easily. I've always felt attached to my clothing, but I feel like my Lolita pieces are like an extension of me, and I value them a lot more than my normal clothes. That's why I'm okay with paying more, because I know the quality is there and the value on the market is there, but also that I will have them for years most likely. I also think it showed my true self inside and out, like especially old school sweet punk and gothic Lolita really matched the mix of my fight between really feminine things and rebellious or dark emotional looks. So it made me feel completed. Number 9, the dress or item that taught me something important about coordinating Lolita fashion. I was like, I don't really know, because like I just never had anything that I was like really like stuck on with that. The only thing I thought of was maybe my black piece now skirt that had, because I just never owned like a black and a blue combo, and that's kind of like really what awoken that gothic Lolita in me. Because I was a little bit worried when I got it that I wouldn't have like enough of those things, that color combination to make enough outfits for it. I have a decent amount, and I found a lot of different ways that I can coordinate that look and make it exactly how I want it, and you know, cohesive and all that fun stuff. So that would probably be like my only thing, and that I just discovered a lot more that I could do with it. And then the last thing is one invaluable resource that I would recommend to every new or aspiring Lolita, and I said street snaps, because if you look at Lolita street snaps for inspiration, it'll help you like spice up your styling. Or if you're trying to like study a different style of Lolita, then it's really helpful to just like look at other people's coordinates or street snaps. It's just like I just think it's really inspirational and a really good creative source. And yeah, I feel like looking at the actual source is a better way than just kind of taking all the information from like beginner Lolita videos and like trying to shove it into an outfit. It will be really confusing and hard, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!